privilege to be standing here today. It's funny, a lot of times when we deliver a speech in a classroom or we give a presentation, we have the tendency of saying, "Thank you for being here." And a lot of times, our comment is met with looks of unamusement, maybe because our classmates have no other choice but to be there. But today, I can genuinely look to the audience and say, "Thank you for choosing to be here." So I'm going to start out with an icebreaker, everyone's favorite. If you're a woman, I'm going to ask you to please raise your hand. And now I want everyone to take a second and look around this room. And I want you to imagine if one of every 5 of these women lacks an education. You can put your hands down. This is why I stand here today, to share with you the reality of millions of girls around the African continent, and to shed light on the power of educating African girls. Although other women on various platforms have expressed the plight of African women, today I want to speak specifically to the reality of an uneducated girl. Growing up in a family with 2 educated parents, I was introduced to academic opportunities at a very young age. Having studied in various continents, my drive for education led me out the home of my parents and not only brought me here to Furman, but to this platform. This is what motivates me to evoke change, because moments like these are attainable, and they are within the reach of each African girl. According to the UN, the African continent holds the highest concentration of women per capita. The continent is also predicted to see the highest rates of population growth, so much so that within the next 20 to 30 years, the story of the global female will be told through the idiom of an African girl. According to UNESCO, in the year 2000, 92.7 million African girls were out of school in the sub-Saharan region. Now you can imagine, as the population continues to grow, these numbers will grow adjacently. Without education, African girls are automatically excluded from exploring opportunities of leadership and democracy, thus placing them in an infinite cycle, a cycle I like to call the doughnut of marginalization. Having seen the front of many wars and carried the pain of many tragedies, in various countries, the failure of social cohesion has manifested itself in varying forms of aggression against women. Women and children are maimed, they're murdered, they're raped, they're mutilated at some of the fastest rates in the world. This cycle is initiated by the reluctance of men to let go of traditional power. The cycle is then fueled by the disregard of female education, primarily demoting mental liberation and the right of choice. This is very similar to a societal climate we see here in the United States. Many of the women we see in power, like Michelle Obama, Oprah Winfrey, Hillary Clinton, and my personal favorite, Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex. Each of these women get to sit at the table with world powers because of their strong educational foundation. And seeing women like these in power allow for little girls around the US to have hope and to believe that their dreams are not only valid, but tangible. However, for the African girl, this dream is much further away. Therefore, we have to make a change. And we start by breaking the cycle. It's impossible to believe that one swooping law will get the job done. That is why we start at the beginning, by providing basic levels of education. Now, this is what starts to happen when we educate African girls. We see a new doughnut starting to form, a little something I like to call the doughnut of liberation. When girls and boys are put together in a classroom as equals, equality is ingrained at a very young age. This empowerment allows for girls to set high expectations for themselves that no one can ever take away. Outside the classroom, the importance of opportunities then move from the classroom to the household, from the household to societies, from societies to industries, and industries to institutions. As Michelle Obama once said, "No one country can flourish if it stifles the potential of its women, and it deprives itself of the contribution of half of its citizens. This is why I believe it's important to educate African girls, because we will see immense global change. Now, as an audience member here in the United States, I'm sure you're asking yourselves, okay, what can we do about this? And as much as I'd love to ask you guys to all run over and build as many schools as you can, I think we'll all opt for the following. Number 1, use your voice on social media to let people know. Number 2, support global leaders and care about global issues. Number 3, support organizations that fight for the same cause. To make a change, I personally am involved with initiatives that focus on existing all-girls schools around South Africa, organizations that bring keynote speakers, hold book drives, provide sanitary care, introduce mentorship, and sponsorship. Now, in my language, we have a word called Ubuntu. This word is the word that describes the action of humility. I hope you can take this with you as you join me on the journey of breaking the cycle, one girl at a time. I thank you.